Okay, so the applied research class, as I told you, is a class that most students take most students take it in the last semester, some take it in a semester before, and they have the practicum after it. Okay, but 90% of the students take it in the last semester. It has a prerequisite of intro to research class. So basically, in intro to research class, you thought about a topic. You did a lot of literature review, you read a lot of articles, you wrote about it. So in this class, you actually implement it. That means you collect real time data. It's not from articles, it's not from any other places. It's actually real time data that you collect, and you analyze that data, and you make interpretations to answer your own research question. That's what applied research is all about. Most often, there are two types of research: quantitative and qualitative. Okay, quantitative is which deals with numbers. Like, for example, you gave a survey out and you got numerical data and you are analyzing that data. That is all quantitative. Qualitative is when you are collecting people's thoughts, opinions, open ended answers. All of those are qualitative. Sometimes research combines both of them, which is called mixed methods research, because it's having quantitative and qualitative. My goal is always for you to do your research in such a way that it is doable and measurable within the semester, because we don't have too much time. Okay. One of the big things that happens in this course is you'll hear me say a lot about IRB, which is Institutional Review Board. You have to get permission from IRB to be able to conduct your research. It is about ethical practices, being able to, like, the university is held accountable for the research done by master students. Okay, they are held accountable for research done with the PhD students. So they want to make sure that it adheres to the guidance of human subjects are safe, all of those practices. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But that IRB process is something that is I should say, the most biggest obstacle that comes in the way. Because once you put your IRB application, there is one representative of the college that reviews it. Then it goes to the university and the chair looks at it. Okay. And then you get the approval and then you can do the data collection. So it's a process. It's out of my hands. I can't do anything other than just inquire when is it happening, how it is, and everything else. There are three types of IRBs. One is exempt, one is expedited, and one is full board. There is no way we are going to do full board. Full board is when you are actually doing research with minors. Okay, like actually doing research with school students, and you come in contact with school students and everything else. If you're doing something like that, that takes up to 8 weeks to get back, because it has to be looked up by every single person on the committee. So all colleges have a representative. So it takes up to 8 weeks. So 8 weeks is nearly 2 months. Think about it. But if you look at the schedule, your IRB application is due sometime in, I think September is when it is. I need to go back and look at my schedule. Give me a second. But I've tried to keep it in a way that we can get back our replies back. Wait, because that's a good question. Let me open it up. So, it's due on October the 12th. That's when your application is due. It's going to get signed by the chair of the College of Education, then sent to a representative, then done all of those things. So, it takes at least about 4 weeks to come back. So, think about it in your mind that by the time it comes back, then I'm doing data collection, then I'm doing analysis and everything else. Okay. So, a full board is up to 8 weeks. Expedited is when you are doing surveys and you're doing it on adults. That is expedited. Okay. So that is basically, if you do interviews with adults and things like that, also that comes under expedited. Anything to do with adults come under expedited. Exempt is the best way to go. Exempt is when you are looking at data that is already available to you. So there are two different scenarios here to think about as you are working through. Two different scenarios, I said, because we are going to stick with exempt and expedited. Those are the ones that we are going to stick with. Now, there are some rare cases when we can do a blanket IRB, and we'll talk about those things, which is a simpler, which just basically means that it gives me the authority to give you permission to do it. Okay. Most often, students in their masters do not publish their research in journals and everything else. So because they don't publish, we still have more flexibility in how we treat that research. But if you are publishing it out there, or if you are going to share it out there, results and all, it has to be an IRB application. It's university can be audited at any time, and it could be like we could be sued, like federal case and everything else, because it's a huge big thing. Okay. So like I'll give you an example, like even the provost had to send an IRB application, like survey out to students. She also had to get IRB permission. I was the IRB rep till last year, so I had to go through her IRB application. She still had to go through this process. So nobody is exempt from it to be able to use stuff like that. Okay. All right. Not trying to scare you. Please don't drop off. Please don't drop off. Please, 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 please. Okay. We're going to get through this. But I want to give you the true picture of what is this course about. And that's the biggest thing. So what I have done in this course is so you have to write a final paper, right? I have made parts of the final paper so that by the time you come towards final paper, you can start copy pasting your final paper. You'll have everything done except for the analysis part of it. And I'll explain some of the assignments that are coming in, okay, so that you will understand. For example, you have a city training, which is CITI training that is coming up, that is required for the IRB application. You have to have one. So you're already doing that even before the application is due, so that it is all ready to go. Okay. Your research document assignment that is there, the questions mirror exactly the IRB application. So once you fill up that document, the Word document, you get feedback on it. We talk about some of those questions. We're going to have meetings if we need to have meetings and everything else. And then you can do your IRB application by copy pasting. Some of the answers are exactly the same. Some of them I have to modify and do things like that. Okay. Your reliability and validity chapters are related to surveys that you will do. And we'll talk about in just a second, right? If you have quantitative research, you have your hypothesis testing, you need that for your methods section. So you're getting that before that. Okay, your APA assignment prepares you for your final paper, because APA is the style of writing. How many of you love APA from your intro to research class? I don't think nobody has ever liked APA. Even I don't like it. It's a pain, but it is what it is, things like that. Your assignment 2, 3, and 4 actually gives you scripts for the type of analysis you will do. So you actually analyze the data. So it's like independent sample t-test or dependent sample t-test. You analyze the data. So when you have your own data, you're now only changing the numbers. Things like that. So everything prepares you. If you are doing a quantitative research, one of the things that has to be done is you have to run your data through SPSS. Okay, that's another step, right? Something to learn about. I will do that for you. So you don't even have to worry about it. If you're doing a quantitative research, I will run all the data tables and send you all the data tables so that you do not have to do that. However, if you're doing qualitative research, one of the ways to figure out what are the themes in it, what is coming out of the data, is to analyze it, because you have to read the responses. So if that's something you have to do, you have to do it on your own. So that's the difference between quantitative and qualitative. Full disclosure, full transparency, quantitative research is easier to do. in a semester than qualitative. Okay, qualitative becomes cumbersome depending on how many participants you have, doing interviews, stuff like that. Quantitative is easier, doable, and measurable. You want to further add on to that research and publish it or use it. Like, for example, Stephen may want to use it with the university, or Julia may want to use it with her principal or something like that. You're more than welcome to. For me, let's not overwhelm ourselves this semester. We do good job, we do what is needed, but we don't try to go tangentially in every direction. Okay, how are we doing? Good? Okay, talked for a lot of time. Ask me questions before we move on. Okay, I cannot be that great that you don't have questions. Don't be scared, guys. This is the time to ask questions.
Well, Dr. Gupta, so if y'all don't mind me asking a question,
Go for it.
I've this may dovetail into a conversation between you and me for my paper. I do think that quantitative is going to be the route that I'll take with mine. But if I'm interested in the doctoral program down the road, can I build upon what I'm taking from quantitative research into a more mixed methods? Because what I'm primarily looking at is surveys, exploring barriers, stop outs and dropouts from the military connected side in the university, basically seeing if I can get access to exit surveys or reasons why they've stopped out. And then really take another look down the road. But I am trying to be realistic about my timelines because of mixed methods